Oh, England. It's cold. Vikings are invading. Who would want to play tall here? Wait, London is a farmlands? Yeah, we can work with this. The plan is to make England the most developed land in the world through building up the nation from within. And then in 400 years, with all the money in the world, we'll begin colonizing, starting with Africa. And I mean all of Africa. Make sure you watch till the end because this game is gonna be crazy. Like, I'm talking 1 million gold crazy, 300,000 troop battles crazy. If you enjoy this video and others like it, make sure to drop a subscribe. It's free and easy, and I really appreciate it. And perhaps you'll be invited to the council if you subscribe, you never know. We are starting as Earl Alfred of Dorset, a great commander and intelligent young man. Our brother in liege is the Duke of Wessex, and is currently aiding against the Viking invasions of East Anglia and Northumbria. We're going down the gallantry to be the best commander possible, as that will help us win battles even when outnumbered. That also means going with a chivalry focus for a +5 advantage. We just gotta wait a bit as our brother will die in battle, but don't tell him that. Well, there he goes, he has died, and we're now in control of Wessex.
Do you believe that I wished for my brother to be killed in battle? And for the crown to be placed upon my head? I didn't.
We're now in charge of those 2 wars mentioned earlier. We have 300 archers and 400 huscarls. I'm gonna buy another set of huscarls to bring that up to 500, as I'm going to try my absolute hardest to win these wars. We have a commander advantage of 33, so we actually have a chance in this battle. Oh wow, we just barely put out a victory while outnumbered. East Anglia should be good and well protected, so we can now attempt to save Northumbria. The Vikings decided to declare a white peace, and as such Northumbria was saved too. The war for East Anglia ended in a win for us shortly after. We're now safe and sound in our home of Wessex. Immediately we're making pretty good money at 9.4 profit per month, but I won't be happy until that's 1,000 per month. England has some cool special buildings. In this temple in Kent, there's this really strong temple building. Since we can't control temples directly, we only make a % of the money, but the % holding taxes and development growth apply to the whole county. In London, there's actually 2 special buildings, but the important one is the Tower of London. It gives some cool bonuses even if they aren't insane. The other building is the London Bridge, but we won't be able to build that for a long time, so we won't worry about that for now. Because of these special buildings, I want to move my capital to London at some point, but for now, we are unable to revoke it from our vassal. We need plenary assemblies before increasing our crown authority to gain the ability to revoke titles. We can already form the Kingdom of England. We'll just have to wait to get some more money. Things will progress very fast after that. We've reached 500 gold and we can now create the Kingdom of England. Our neighbors will accept vassalization, but only for low feudal obligations. It's because we have low legitimacy. I'd rather have normal feudal obligations, so I'll hold off on vassalizing until we get our legitimacy up. I held a feast, and it brought me right to the line of being legitimate. The leader of Mercia has started to like me more, and we can actually vassalize for normal obligations now. Mercia is a huge vassal, and as such, we will have to be careful of rebellions from them. Cornwall, on the other hand, doesn't want to be vassalized, so I fabricated a claim and can now declare war. They are allied to France, though, which is a little scary. I'm sure we'll be fine. Yeah, it was easy. The French kinda suck. Winning that war bumped our legitimacy up enough for East Anglia to also accept vassalization. We already have most of the southern half of England. We can't continue to expand through peace though, since the northern border states are Viking nations, but that does mean we can do holy wars. The game says we'll lose this battle, so I'm going around and attacking the smaller army first. We were able to pull off a win in the first fight. Uhtred of Bebember. We went into a second battle and lost. That didn't stop me, and I went back and won the next one. We were then able to finish the war and take York from the Vikings. Next up is a small county owned by, hey look at that, Hastings kid. The last place in the north we'll need to take is this weird split up version of Northumbria, but they're of the same religion and culture, so we might be able to vassalize them. Yep, they'll even accept high feudal obligations. I was mistaken, and there's one more county in the north we need to take. That falls under England. It's currently owned by the Isles, but they're already in 2 wars, so it should be easy to take. It was, and now the northern border is secured. I've been fighting many battles, but back home I'm still making sure to upgrade our domain. Most of the area is plains, which lets us build farms and fields, which is great for taxes. I unlocked the Gallant trait and swapped over to a wealth focus, as we're almost done conquering, and we'll have to start developing our land soon. One of those wars being against the Welsh, as they have one county that belongs to the English kingdom. I took it while also dealing with a peasant uprising. Then, immediately afterwards, I had to take down a Viking invasion. With me in charge, there's going to be no northern invaders in my lands. During all those wars, the rest of Cornwall actually decided to accept vassalization from me, so we've successfully united all of England very quickly. Now that we don't need to go to war, it's only up for the economy from here. In addition to farms and fields, we can build trade ports on counties next to oceans and rivers, which is most of southern England. It grants tax and development growth. On top of increasing research speed, development directly impacts the amount of gold a county makes, so higher development is always better. Plenary Assemblies is taking its time to be discovered, but it's down to 17 years from now. From now on, I'll be training my kids in stewardship as they don't need to conquer as I have, and instead they need to focus on building up the land we already have. My wife died, so I married a new woman with a high stewardship level to increase my max domain size. You get one holding slot per 6 stewardship, and setting your wife to manage domain increases stewardship based on their skill level. One of the biggest problems we will face in this game will have to do with succession. We will lose land to our other children if we keep things the way they are, so I'm starting by implementing an election. In theory, we will be able to use elections to keep our land consolidated. We have fully constructed level 1 buildings throughout our domain, so I will begin upgrading them to the current max of level 2. We are the head of the Anglo-Saxon culture, and as such we can change it in any way we see fit. We already have the bureaucratic ethos, which in my opinion is the best ethos for the development game. And we also have the city keepers tradition, which lets you build the best building, the windmills, in cities. But that's not useful until we actually unlock windmills, much later down the line. In this game, we will be going with the industrious tradition. It grants development every time a building is completed. It also makes buildings faster to build, but costs a little more. But in my opinion, the most important part of this tradition is the ability to build windmills and watermills one era early. As mentioned, windmills are amazing for development growth, and watermills are amazing for making gold. If we combine this with our city keeper tradition, we will be able to build these buildings across our land over 100 years before you'd normally be able to in castles and cities, greatly boosting our nation's wealth. And in the meantime, before unlocking windmills, the development growth will be nice. We're up to 23 gold per month, and as such we have a little extra money to spend. I'm going to start this legitimizing legend, which I believe to be the best kind of legend, as it gives you this amazing building that grants percent gold and development, on top of a boost to lifestyle experience. I have this intelligent and strong son here that is better than my current heir. This is another great perk of elections. We can vote in our best kid who won't necessarily be our oldest child. We already have an election set up for England, but I also need to set up elections for our duchies. When I get the prestige, I will keep adding elections, but for now I can set one up for Wessex. We're the only voter, so I'm pretty confident we will win. It's been a few years, and I can now complete the legend, unlocking the decision to add a slot for the legendary palace. I'm adding the building slot to our current capital of Winchester. Once we get 1400 gold, we will be able to construct this beautiful creation. We're making pretty good money, so it didn't take long before I was able to begin the construction of the palace. I was able to fully go down the architect tree, unlocking the important perks of centralization for development growth, divided attention for domain holdings, and architect for building. I'm now switching to the learning tree for this 15% development growth. Almost out of nowhere, the great Alfred the Conqueror then died in his sleep, leaving the throne to his son, King Balthair. We're not on the same level as Alfred, but we're not terrible, still being an intelligent man. We lost a little bit of land to our brother, but that's fine since we can only hold 7 domains anyway. Well, 8 with our wife set to manage domain. This might sound crazy, but the Welsh have a couple of techs we don't, so I think it'd be in our interest to create a hybrid culture, so I'm going to begin promoting cultural acceptance. I'm guessing improving the cultural acceptance helped, as this small part of Wales wants to be vassalized, and what kind of man would I be if I said no? Our culture discovered the ledger innovation, and as such, we unlocked another building slot. I'm filling the slots with anything that makes money. I didn't realize it, but we unlocked the Assembly's innovation earlier as well, and so I fabricated a claim on Middlesex. We have to up our crown authority to level 2, and then we can take the land from our vassal. Since we have a claim on the title, we are able to revoke it without penalty. He wants to fight for it. How cute. We beat him and took the entire Duchy of Essex. And of course, I immediately started constructing buildings in our new land. We technically hold too many duchies now, which does make all of our vassals get an opinion penalty towards us. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter, and having more duchies is 100% worth it. Yeah, so apparently our vassals do hate us for it, and they've decided that they want freedom. England is pretty big, and as such, you have a lot of vassals, which does make playing tall harder, but I welcome the challenge. We've actually entered the early medieval age mid-war. The two most important techs are battlements and manorialism. Battlements lets you upgrade your castles to level 2, and manorialism lets you make duchy buildings, and upgrade economic buildings to level 4. You need a level 2 castle to upgrade the economic buildings, so the techs work best together. I'm specifically going with battlements first this game, as I want to create the Tower of London as soon as possible. I put down the rebellion, and stripped my traitorous vassals' titles away, and granted the land to people who would be more loyal, such as those with the content personality trait. We own the titles of Wessex, Kent, and East Saxe ourselves, while our brother owns Weiss. The in-game plan is to own all 4 of these duchies ourselves. Most of our counties are fully maxed out for our tech level, and I'm upgrading the buildings that aren't. We once again completed the architect tree and swapped over to a scholarship focus. There are a few learning skills that will be super useful. Now the rest of Wales also wants to become our vassal. We've kinda accidentally taken control over Wales as well now. So back to those learning skills. The most important one is this first one, called Scientific, which increases our research speed by a massive 20%. I didn't like my wife, so I killed her, got caught, then married this genius to hopefully have some great eugenically induced kids. We reached 40% acceptance with the Welsh, and we can now create a hybrid culture. We're keeping our things, but added refined poetry, which makes poets cooler, and I'm also adding the longbow competitions tradition, which greatly buffs archers and gives us a new men-at-arms type. I can't call it English because it already exists in the game, so I'll settle with calling it English Prime. The new traditions and texts are nice, but they don't matter all that much. The best part about this is that it has reduced the number of counties that our culture occupies, making it much easier to increase the average development and thus the research speed. These assholes are raiding us, but they have way too many troops for us to defeat. They're just freely ransacking our land. Also, Brittany declared war on us, but they're weak, so I'm not sure what the plan is. It's a free 250 gold, so I'll take it. Introducing channel memberships. These will be a way for you guys to support the channel and get a little out of it yourselves. There's 3 tiers with varying perks, but the most important one is the $5 Duke rank. You'll get early access to new videos, members only shorts, a private Discord channel, special behind the scenes content, and what I think is the coolest perk, the ability to vote on what I'm calling council polls. These will be polls with various ideas for the next video, and with the Duke rank, you'll be able to vote and collectively decide what kind of videos I make. I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in, channel member or not, and let's get back to the video. The eugenics program is working as our heir is a genius. I absolutely hate plagues. They kill your family members and devastate development. The development here was upwards of 20, and now it's dropped all the way down to 4 from a string of bad plagues. There's a new plague every year, I just have to hope they don't wipe out my family. Earlier we got the longbow tradition from merging with the Welsh, and that lets us have this stack of 9 longbow men, while our other stacks of men at arms are only a max of 5. Longbowmen also get a stat bonus for every era, so they get better the later in the game it is. I'm building 2 full stacks since 900 men at arms, and a stack at this point in the game is crazy. Our culture is spread to all the important counties, and as such, we don't really want to keep spreading, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to die in a year. I have enough prestige to add a succession law to all my duchy titles that don't already have one. Because of the elections, I was able to maintain all the same titles. Well, except for Wales. We did lose Wales to our brother, but that doesn't matter. Our new character is a genius, and has the most important traits of diligent and temperate, which are both great for stewardship. I went to university using my life savings, and leveled up my education trait to Golden Sovereign, which I believe to be the best education trait in the game. Plus 10 stewardship, plus 3 learning, plus 25% vassal taxes, and bonuses to stewardship and learning lifestyle experience. Which is great, since I believe those are the 2 best lifestyles for playing tall. We unlock battlements, and we'll go for manorialism next. First things first, we can build a Tower of London, which kinda gives bonuses for everything. We can then go through all of our castles and upgrade them to level 2. A couple of our castles are still Anglo-Saxon, so we can't upgrade those yet, but once they get converted to our new English culture, we will be able to do so. This is a small thing that you might not know about, but if you have the administrative court type, the court grandeur level 7 grants 0.2 development growth in the capital. It'll cost a couple gold per month, but we're making plus 44 already, so it won't dent into it that much. Oh, what's going on here? We're being raided? How dare you even think that you can raid me? I actually can't believe this, Alba. We used to be allied, you know. I know we're playing tall, but I am not going to let Alba get away with this. War it is. We were just about to win, but then my game crashed. This time I actually won. In terms of dynasty legacies, I've been going down the erudition tree to get this third one here, as it grants plus 20% development growth and gives us some learning lifestyle experience. We still have to wait 15 years for manorialism, so wait I shall. My wife took one of my artifacts and is threatening to burn it, and the options here are to accept it or duel her. So I attempted to duel my wife and she beat me up. Our Welsh brother died and we inherited Wales, so apparently we own that again. I've been developing London for a bit now, and I've decided now is the time to move my capital over. It has nice special buildings and is a farmland, so it's a good fit. I can also make some more castles here to construct even more buildings. What? My wife wants to cut my balls off? I have an 85% chance to be okay. Oh, figures as much. She castrated me, what the fuck? I actually can't believe that. Apparently being castrated doesn't affect my holiness, as I hit the religious icon level of devotion, which lets you consecrate your bloodline. It gives you some renown and makes religious people like you a bit more, since the Pope considers your bloodline holy. As you can see here, zealot vassals are impressed. And who cares about the penis, we've unlocked manorialism. The first thing to do will be to construct duchy buildings. My favorite duchy building is the Royal Reserves for the 10% development growth in all counties in the duchy. When we upgrade this building, it'll just get even better at 20%, then 30%. We can also start to upgrade our economic buildings to level 4. We're really adding onto this development growth with all these bonuses. Remember how I said our capital of London is a farmlands? Look at this cultural tradition, agrarian, plus 30% development growth in farmlands. 30% is huge. I'm getting rid of our longbow tradition for it. Farmlands in itself already gives plus 20% development, so that'll make it a plus 50% just for existing. I'm up to building our first level 4 buildings, and we're currently sitting at plus 67 gold per month. Our culture is on par with the Greeks right now, so things are looking good. The next tech we are going for is bailiffs, which will unlock another building slot, and I'm quite excited for this. Once we unlock bailiffs, we can get some windmills because we have the industrious tradition. About once every 5 years or so, the Vikings invade, and it is so annoying. I always win, but still, like, come on guys. Earlier in the video, I mentioned diligent being one of the best traits, and here's why. You can increase the development gain in your capital for a stress penalty. My evil wife died! Thank God, let's go! Our buildings in London are maxed out, and we're up to 24 development, and it's quickly rising. We're also making 100 gold per month, which is good since all of these building upgrades have taken all of our money. Once these buildings finish, we will have maxed out buildings in our entire domain of 11, until we unlock bailiffs. And there we are, bailiffs at last. I can now build some sweet, juicy, delicious windmills. You can't build windmills in secondary castles because the devs know they are the best and that'd be OP. But that's why we have city keepers. We can construct an extra windmills building in this city, and that'll contribute to the development of the entire county. That's the industrious plus city keepers combo for you. Double windmills before the year 1000. Everyone gets a windmill! The next tech we pick doesn't really matter. They're all good in their own way, but none will give us a huge boost until the High Medieval period. It hasn't been very long, but we've once again maxed out all of our buildings. And we're making over 100 gold per month while also promoting a legend. We eventually died after a good reign, but the use of elections has made dying not all that bad. I'm making sure to educate our kids well, so we always have a high stat steward in charge. The only thing is that we have to give up a couple secondary castles to vassals until we unlock divided attention for the extra domain slots, and then we can just take them back for ourselves with no penalty. While developing our area of England is still the most important task ahead, my new character has some ambition, and that ambition is to become the Emperor of Britannia. We're only like 7 counties away, so I don't think it'll be very hard. Alba just refused to promote my legend, which means it's war.
Yippee!
Ireland also refused, so I'll have to go in there and explain nicely why they shouldn't have refused. With the extra few counties that we took, we were able to get our legend to spread to 300 baronies and max it out. This is the legend we got from consecrating our bloodline, and it is also a legitimizing legend. Because of that, we can now build ourselves another amazing legendary palace, and we're going to build it in Kent. We're officially wealthy, And as such, we can start to spend money on luxuries like fancy clothes. We can now create the Empire of Britannia title, and I gotta add an election of course. Completing the legend also had another interesting side effect. It's letting me add the Kingdom of Wales into the de jure Kingdom of England, which means Wales is now literally England. You know what would be cool? A third castle in Middlesex. I went on and conquered all of Alba, adding it to the British Empire. And yes, I renamed my country to the British Empire. I have a lot of domain holding slots, so I'm considering taking Huais for myself. I'll hold off on that, but I am considering it. I went ahead and brought Ireland into the Empire as well. The British Empire is complete. Well, until the 1200s. Just so everyone knows, this is the reason tall is better than wide. Our domain is giving us 140 gold per month, while 3 full kingdoms of vassals only give us 20 gold. I recently discovered a third powerful skill tree that's actually under the wandering lifestyle. The inspector tree lets you greatly increase your domain taxes, lets you do inspections to increase development, and gives you an extra holding slot. So I would like to go down it after getting the architect trait and the first couple of learning traits. It's time to take Huais. This county here has Stonehenge, which gives bonuses to learning, so I'll keep this county directly. Here in Oxford, there's a slot to build a university, which is another building that grants learning bonuses, but also some development growth. It requires the county to reach 30 development, so we will have to build that later. And finally, this county has a special mining settlement that is pretty good for gold, so I'll hold on to this one for myself as well. My son is dying of measles, and he's passed. My only heir. My wife is 36, so there is still a chance we can have another son. Or I could divorce her. I don't think we're going to be having another kid. We have consumption and we are dying. My only chance to continue is if my daughter is able to become my heir. The only issue is everyone here hates women. Being evil is literally better than being a woman to these guys. If I remove the election, then perhaps we can have our oldest daughter inherit the title. Oh, yep, that worked actually. I was panicking for nothing. All I had to do was remove democracy. And there's the end of us. And our 14-year-old girl is now in charge. She's close enough to being 16, so really this isn't much of an issue, as we should be able to make her pretty OP by the time she is older. The next point of progression will be in 1050 when we start entering the next era, and until then we shall wait as everything is maxed for us. We unlock divided attention, and that brings us all the way up to 17 holdings, which is just insane. It's all due to having a good regent, which has its own pros and cons, but it's still pretty cool to see. Look how awesome London is looking. We're up to 58 development. Since we have money to spare, I'm keeping my military up to date. It'll also help dissuade potential invaders. Our army is pretty strong, so if anyone does try to invade us, they must be crazy. The way I make my heirs good is by influencing their personality as much as possible. I start with temperate. It gives you some stress, but it is worth it. I try to pass on my temperate and diligent personality traits to all my sons. I also make sure to hire an excellent tutor and set them to educate children. I hate plagues! Look at this. Our development is being destroyed. And our beautiful, amazing heir has typhus. I start with the architect tree, then swap to complete the scholar tree for the development growth, and then I swap over to the wandering lifestyle for the cool inspector perks I mentioned earlier. Oh nice, he survived typhus. This little guy is going to grow up to be great. And of course, right after I say that, there's another plague. Consumption this time. And he's sick again. He survived again, he's fine. Yay! In just one more year, we shall reach the high medieval period, and we'll be able to increase our income, which is all that's important. We have 80,000 in the bank, ready to be used on upgrades. I'm also doing a survey activity, which lets you travel to a county and improve development and taxes. So I'm doing that whenever it's available, which should be every 2 years. We unlocked this activity from the Wandering Lifestyle Inspector tree. We also have this decision here, which has a 1/3 chance of increasing levies or increasing taxes or increasing development. We got levies of course, which is meaningless, but the goal is to hopefully get taxes or development next time we do that. It's now the High Medieval. There's a few techs that'll greatly improve our economy, but I'm going to go for guilds first for the High Medieval era economy buildings and the +1 building slot. I always go windmills first, so this is a fun change. We've greatly improved our development since the last era, and now it'll only take 14 years to research one tech all the way from 0 to 100. With a new era also comes a new cultural tradition slot, so I'm looking through them to decide what I want to go with. Here's the perk in the inspector tree that gives you an extra domain slot. The next perk is also great and gives some stewardship, but more importantly, 10% development growth. We're up to 77 development in our capital, and it's growing incredibly fast. The bonuses are almost going off the screen. I've gotten enough prestige to add a new cultural tradition, and I've decided to go with the philosopher culture for the bonuses to learning. It also makes the scholar trait give more cultural fascination progress, and I almost always get that on my characters. Oh man, okay, that's unfortunate. Our player error has become a leper. I'll have to sort that out later. I don't see William anywhere. He must have gotten lost. Oh well. We've unlocked guilds. We're at 100,000 gold, so we really don't need any more money. Of course that doesn't matter because we're still going to do our best to get more money. The obvious choice of building is the watermills when possible. They can only be built on rivers, and England is full of rivers, so it's perfect. They don't give as much development as windmills, but they do decrease building costs, and at higher levels they give a % increase to gold income. Isn't this menu great? I just love seeing all the buildings being constructed. It's the year 1072, and we're at 99 development here in our capital. I just had to play the game for a second, and now we're at 100 development. The surrounding area will take a while to catch up. Constantinople is also at 100, so we've officially tied the Byzantines. So we might all die to a plague. But we haven't died yet, and we can get another dynasty legacy. It's been a while since I mentioned these, but I've been going up the law branch. We can get the 5th and final one, which will give us an extra domain slot. Our heir and only son died to the smallpox outbreak. And his oldest son, our first grandson, isn't in our dynasty. Oh shit. I can designate our daughter as the heir and cast a vote for her, which appears to be working and fixing succession. I'm doing my best to marry my daughters to have good grandchildren, so I'll be able to continue the line of geniuses. Enough about succession. We just discovered windmills. I mean, technically we already have windmills, but now we have another building slot and can upgrade our windmills. We can also upgrade our royal reserves for a 10% increase in dev growth. I'm tired of these plagues, so I'm using this extra slot on hospices, even though, to be honest, I find that they don't work most of the time. Ha ha! We're at 100 development, of course, but look at this. There's so many bonuses to development growth here that we literally can't see them all. They go off the screen. I'm sending a picture of that to the Discord, which you can join with the link in the description. We're planning to set up a crazy multiplayer game, so if you are interested in that or just want to have a chat, then you should join now. Since we have the industrious tradition and the windmills tech, we can actually upgrade our windmills past level 4, even though our castle is only level 2. Normally you need a level 3 castle for this. In 2 years we will be unlocking the hoardings innovation, and that's when we'll get level 3 castles. I've previously stated that windmills are better than watermills, and I believe I was wrong. They both have different purposes, windmills for development and watermills for money. The high level watermills give % holding taxes to the entire county, which is crazy good. We've unlocked hoardings. It only takes us like 8 years to research each tech. As you can see, we can now upgrade our buildings to level 5. I don't even pay attention to what I'm upgrading anymore. All I know is that our income keeps rising. I wasn't expecting this, but with level 3 castles, we can even upgrade our windmills past level 6. We can upgrade them all the way to the max of 8. Looking at all our family members, our nephew grandson, don't question it, appears to be the best guy we got. He's beautiful and a genius. I haven't been paying much attention to the world outside of Britannia, but as you can see here, the Byzantines have been hard at work taking over lots of Europe. The current plan is to continue upgrading our buildings, but really just kinda chill until the late medieval period in 1200. At that point, it'll almost be time to conquer. We got over 100 years to wait. We have an insane 17 holdings, and we're making over 800 gold per month while I'm still continuing to upgrade our buildings. We've spent over 100,000 gold on upgrading all those buildings, as you can see by our money being significantly lower than before. There's a crusade against the Byzantines for Bavaria, but that doesn't really matter. What actually matters is the fact that multiple of our daughters have died and there's only 2 left, which is scaring me. This is who I actually want as my heir, but with his mother dead, I'm not sure how to get the line to continue with him. The crusade was a success. Wait, I've been overthinking it. I just have to add back elections so that I can vote for my extended family members. We merged our culture with the Welsh earlier, and as such, we can add the Tanistry elective, which will let us vote for anyone in our dynasty. We can vote for our amazing grandson that I wanted in power all along. The only buildings left to upgrade are these hospices. Everything else is maxed out. I just have to remove the duchy electives and swatch them over to Tanistry electives, and our succession should be secured. Earlier, I talked about court tutors and how they can improve your heir, but what you can also do is assign them as a personal physician, as it increases their learning skill and can also give them traits that give health bonuses. We're officially starting to max out many of our castles. Oh, rest in peace. Our empress ruled for 76 years, but now it's time for this beautiful man to mostly just wait around. The Byzantines have France now, so that's new. It's 1122, and we only have 2 more innovations to unlock, which will only take a couple more years since our research speed is so incredibly fast. And with that, we've unlocked every innovation before the late medieval era. 1200, here I come. All my troops died in a crusade, don't worry about it. Our domain is starting to get full of maxed out developed counties, and if it isn't maxed out, it's almost there. Guys, I'm literally making over 1,000 gold per month from playing tall. Do you know how insane that is? I'm upgrading our vassals' buildings because money is no object anymore. The inflation impacts of this would be insane. Can you imagine? I've been saving up prestige and piety for a crazy plan of mine. The first step will be to get the By the Sword tradition for our culture. It removes the once per lifetime limit of holy wars, as that's how we're going to dominate the world. I'm getting it now since it'll take like 40 years to come into effect, and it'd be better to get it early than late. Well, the piety won't matter since I died, but the second part of the plan requires enough piety to create a new religion. There's also a secret third part of the plan that I know you'll love. Going from 19 to 11 domain holdings is so sad. I'm starting a holy legend as I'm preparing to do something pretty crazy. I maxed out the legend and I can now complete it, but before I do so, I have to do step 2 of the plan. I'm creating a new Christian faith that I'm going to call Anglicanism. Now we're a few hundred years early for this, but as we're ahead of our time and British, it feels right. I'm replacing the Crusade tenet for Unrelenting Faith because I think it'd be cool if priests could fight. Here's the most important change. I'm setting the divorce doctrine to always allow, just as King Henry VIII would have wanted. I created the new religion, yet most of our counties are still Catholic. But remember this, completing the legend gives a special decision. The decision to evangelize to the realm, which converts a lot of our land to our religion. That's the third secret part of the plan. After conquering a nation, we will spam holy legends, which will greatly reduce the amount of rebellions. It's almost the year 1200, but in the meantime, we need to deal with a civil war. I guess some of our vassals don't like that we created a new religion. This is the first civil war we've had in over 100 years. I think we have enough money for mercenaries, so we should be fine. It wasn't too bad, and we put our vassals back in their place. Oh, okay, so the Catholics are crusading us, even though they aren't really any Catholics left, to be honest. The Byzantines kind of made them all Orthodox. I guess they decided they wanted to bring back the Roman Empire because they control a lot of land. I think I know who our main rival is going to be. We're outnumbered, but that's before mercenaries, and the Crusaders have to sail to the island. They're arriving. Wait, I have an idea. When you buy mercenaries, they immediately spawn wherever your rally point is. If I place my rally point here, I can purchase mercenaries to attack the enemy as they are getting off the boat. There's like 100,000 men coming. I think I'm gonna need to buy even more mercenaries. Yeah, so I bought literally every mercenary company I could.
Is that everyone? Like you wanted more?
Our mercenaries were just barely able to pull off a victory. The second battle here should be even easier since I also have my own army on top of the mercenaries this time. Yep, we successfully defended ourselves against the Catholics. It's now 1200, and in a few months we will enter the late medieval. There we are. We have a whole bunch of new texts to research. I could start with the cranes for the economic buildings, but since texts only took a few years to get, I'm going to start with standing armies. I'm preparing to invade. The Byzantines own more land than the Romans at their peak. It's going to be tough to beat them. We have unlocked standing armies, so now we can go for cranes. We've got ourselves a lot of troops we can purchase, a real massive military. I'm going to start fabricating a claim in southern Iberia to get close enough to begin colonizing Africa. Once that's completed, it'll be time. The age of the British Empire has started. I started by taking the county I claimed from Navarra. I swapped our research focus to bombards since I realized that taking castles is going to take a while without them. It's time to start using our By the Sword tradition to its fullest potential. The enemies here don't have nearly as strong of a military as us. I have our army split up, with each army having one stack of siege units so we can go for 2 castles at the same time. Our first victory in Africa. We got the bombards tech finished, so I'm replacing our trebuchets with them, which should make taking down underdeveloped castles even easier. I let my men-at-arms replenish, and now I continue our conquest. Remember, I can declare more holy wars with the power of By the Sword. I'll probably end up skipping a lot of these wars, most should be super easy. Well, we have to deal with our first civil war. I didn't have a holy legend completed yet to convert all the people, so we'll just have to put this one down. If you have a lot of money, the trick to defeating a rebellion is to buy mercenaries as they instantly show up to your rally point. You can get some mercenaries for one group, then move over to the next group and get some more. With this strategy, you can defeat all the peasants almost instantly. Well, only if you have enough money for an absurd amount of mercenaries, which I definitely do. After taking a kingdom, I'm just granting it to some random vassal, making sure that they have positive traits that'll make them less likely to rebel. The Byzantines are absolutely massive. I think the plan will be to take all of Africa south of what the Byzantines control, and then start taking northern Africa from them. We unlock cranes, which will let us upgrade our duchy buildings. Once we unlock level 4 castles, we will also be able to upgrade our economic buildings. The wars go pretty much the same every time. I raise my men at arms and separate them into 2 groups. I then start sieging castles, which only takes a month or 2 tops. Sometimes even shorter. Sometimes I fight enemy armies, but most of the time I just take castles until I win without ever fighting the enemy. The development in England is spreading, with all of southern England being at or near 100. The high development is even reaching Wales and Northumbria. It's nice because development also decreases the amount of time it takes to build stuff, so now that we can upgrade our castles to level 4, it'll be so quick. It only takes about 6 months to upgrade our castles. Upgraded castles mean we can begin to fully max out every single one of our buildings. We're absolutely flying through these techs. It won't be long before our research is also maxed out. Some more peasants are banding together to prepare to revolt, so now I can show you the planned way of dealing with them. I can go ahead and complete this holy legend real quick. And now when they are about to rebel, I can mass convert them to our religion using this decision, which should in theory stop the rebellion. We've taken much of the western part of Africa, and we're starting to get to the point where we will have to take these much smaller nations instead of going for entire kingdoms at once. What the fuck? The Mongols control the original land of the Byzantine Empire. And Venice? Really? Venice. Apparently all of this stuff that used to belong to the Byzantines is now Venice. That's insane. This is so cursed. Okay, so now instead of Venice, it's the Arabian Empire, which I guess makes slightly more sense, but I'm still so confused. Our life now consists of war, then upgrading buildings. I'm not technically the Emperor of Mali, so that's cool. I'm creating the empire titles in hopes of reducing rebellions, increasing taxes by having them be de jure under us, and to get de jure war goals, since I can declare war for all the de jure land at once at this point in the game. We're getting extremely close to maxing out our entire domain, like maxed out, the best we will ever be able to get. Okay, now we are actually maxing out these domains. These are the last upgrades I'm ever gonna do. We've unlocked primogeniture, which makes our eldest son inherit all titles, so we don't have to worry about elections, or about our empire splitting up. Everything is set. I'm now taking land all the way on the east side of Africa. The Mongols collapsed out of nowhere, so now the Arabian Empire is back to being our biggest competitor. So look, these peasants are going to revolt if we sit here and do nothing, so I can complete this legend, then take the decision to convert everyone to our religion. Now look, once we hit play, the faction drops below the threshold for rebelling, and it's as easy as that. Excuse me? The Arabian Empire just became the Holy Roman Empire. This game is absolutely cursed. It's mostly just the smaller kingdoms left until we fight the now HRE, so I can just go ahead and declare war on a big group of them at the same time, so I don't have to wait the months for my troops to raise multiple times. We've officially discovered every innovation possible in 1241. Granted, that would have been much sooner if there weren't strict limits on when an era can start, but it's cool nonetheless. I've fully taken the western part of Africa. It's time. Time to fight the Holy Roman Empire. The empire whose borders that I guarantee are hurting the eyes of every OCD viewer out there. We're gonna fight them for the Kingdom of Egypt. The supply limit isn't great, so I'm taking castles with my men-at-arms while the rest of my army is waiting. This isn't related to the war, but this is the last building in the entirety of my domain that can be upgraded. The enemy is finally approaching. They have about 55,000 men here. I'm gonna start buying mercenaries. The first battle was an easy win for us. They didn't seem to have their entire army here. Now I got 90,000 men I have to split up so they don't starve to death. I messed up and my men-at-arms got caught split up from the main force and were killed. Well, I guess I'll buy every mercenary possible then. It's time to attack. My 133,000 men versus their 110,000. They let us kill part of the army as they didn't help to fight back. They let us pick off another 50,000 men. After that defeat, they were unable to raise another fighting force and we were able to take Egypt. This war wasn't too bad, but it would only get harder from here. We're making 800 gold per month from our domain, then an extra 270 from vassals and 100 from church holdings, so we're making almost 1200 per month, which is nuts. We have a truce of the HRE for 5 years, so I'm going back and taking over the small nations we skipped past. We have an extra slot for a tradition, and I think it'd be fun to get only the strong, although I'm not sure if we'll ever get to the point where it gets completed in 30 years. Our truce just ended, and we have a few options of what to go for next. The Kingdom of Africa has the most land, so I'll go with that. I think our best bet would be to create the Empire title after this, so that we can take the rest of the land and only one more war. The supply limit sucks, so look at how I had to split up my armies. Oh, this is so sketchy. Our troops trickled in just enough to get a victory. We pulled off another win against the HRE to take another kingdom in Africa. This time, it's literally called the Kingdom of Africa. We can't quite create the Empire title, unfortunately, so it's going to be a few more wars against the HRE. Look at this. Our popular opinion back home is almost 300 because of all the holy legends we've done. They keep stacking and giving more and more popular opinion. It's really funny. We now fully control Africa. Except for the HRE parts, of course. But it's literally just us and them now. This is random, but I fabricated a claim on Constantinople and took it for fun. I also went over and took Jerusalem. It was just sitting right there, so I had to take it for the Anglicans. Our truce ended yet again, and I'm now going for the Kingdom of Tahurt. So once again, I bought a boatload of mercenaries. Oh, okay, so the Catholics still exist apparently, and they are crusading in England for the second time. But I think they're outnumbered. The war in Africa was easy, probably because I have a death stack of 127,000 men running around. We won yet another war. I beat the Crusaders, but who cares about a crusade? We've hit 1 million gold. We have a revenue of 1,400 gold, but again, that doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that we hit 1 million!
Hello, I like money.
That's actually insane. I've never done that before. This next war against the HRE is literally in the Sahara. So there's no chance I'll be able to have an entire army raised here. Wait, they have a new strategy this time. They're going for a homeland in England. Luckily, mercenaries are magical and can instantly teleport. I raised as many men as I could in England to prepare for battle. They actually got scared and started to run away, but I caught them before they could. I controlled all the war goal, but the game was glitched and didn't think I controlled it, so I had to save and reload. Okay, now it's working. We would have already won the war by now without the glitch, but it is what it is. There we go. We've won a crazy war. There's literally this one tiny place left to conquer in all of Africa. Djurdjeff made this part of Africa part of the Kingdom of Sardinia, so let's take it. I got our 150,000 troops ready. The HRE troops are sailing in, so let's attack. An absolute massacre. All those troops are gone. And we've won the war just like that. The British Empire controls the entirety of Africa. Well, except for the parts not in the game. Just ignore Southern Africa. It's really late in the game, and time is moving so slowly. So I think I'm just about to call it quits. We've definitely proven ourselves the strongest in the world, by far. I could try to conquer literally the entire world, but my computer just can't handle it. But there is still one last thing I need to do. What do the British hate the most? That's right, the French. Let's take the Kingdom of France. Our troops are all over the place. France's troops are also all over the place. But we have our men-at-arms stack here, and they have a group of 9,000. To think this war of 143k against 178k will be decided by one small battle of only 20,000 men. Well, France is ours. This video took a really long time to make, and if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and check out the new channel memberships if you'd like to support the channel. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, go check them out and see what you like. And again, thanks for watching.